Welcome to Reach for the Top, the game in which some of the area's brightest students have an opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge. 24 teams originally entered into our preliminary elimination, and 8 teams have made it to the provincial finals. Now, let's meet today's contestants.
Representing Martingrove Collegiate Institute in Etobicoke, we have John Cho, Mark Cascader, Mike Militant, and John Poe, and their coach, Pat Beecham. From Westdale Secondary School in Hamilton, we have Kadir Ahmed, Tom Ratcliffe, Richard Price, and Zakir Ahmed, and their coach, Robert Savelli. Hi, and I'm Mark Lade. All set with some quick questions? Good luck, panel. Let's see how we do here on the Snappers. Harquebus and hackbutt are words for which 15th century weapon? Kadir.
A sword?
No. Which weapons? Martingrove. Mark.
Crossbow?
No. Matchlock guns. What Sioux chief was victorious at Little Bighorn? Kadir.
Sitting Bull?
No. Little Bighorn. Martingrove. John?
Crazy Horse?
Yes. Who recorded the album Back in the USSR? Mark.
The Beatles?
No. Back in the USSR. Zakir.
Paul McCartney?
Correct. What is another term for a Petrarchan sonnet? Mark?
Italian sonnet.
Correct. From whom did Canada purchase Rupert's Land? Mark?
The Hudson's Bay Company.
Correct. That's the truth. The man with all the answers, Steve Officer. Steve, we got ourselves a hot game, I have a funny feeling.
Well, scores have been pretty high all the way through the quarterfinals, and now that we're into the semis, boy, we've really got 2 fine teams here, so I'm expecting an outstanding game.
And we'll get on to that outstanding game right after a couple of important messages.
When saving big is your main criteria,
Deep River!
That's the Reach for the Top wave. Okay, panel, all of the following questions have answers which begin with the letters Ya or Y-A. Are you ready? What's the capital of Cameroon, Mark?
Yagib?
No.
No. Zakir?
Yaoundé?
Correct. Say again? Okay. What veil conceals the face except for the eyes and is worn in public by Muslim women in certain countries? The yashmak, Y-A-S-H-M-A-K. What port on the Black Sea in the USSR? Kadir.
Yalta?
Correct. Yeah. Whoa! Tied up, 30 apiece. Pop music. Listen to this particular piece of music.
She said you've taken me for granted.
Mark.
Paul Simon.
That's right. Quick. Let's try another one. Mark.
Simply Red.
Okay, the British group. Scramble for 5 points. It's a vegetable delicacy that appears on the market in the spring. It's a member of the lily family, and we eat its shoots. What is it called? Mark.
Asparagus.
Correct. That's the truth. Okay. 5 points for Etobicoke. These are dealing with asparagus, and they're all yours, Martingrove. Asparagus's green stems function as leaves. What do the true leaves become?
The buds at the end?
No.
Scales. In some European countries, the asparagus is covered as it grows, and it remains white. Why does it not turn green? Mark.
There's no light for photosynthesis.
Correct.
Which French Impressionist artist painted the work Asparagus?
Impressions?
Mike?
Monet?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Religion. Methodism. Methodism is a Christian denomination started by whom? Kadir.
Calvin?
No.
Martingrove? Mark?
Knox?
No.
Reverend John Wesley. What do we call these adherents to a fanatical religious sect headed by a Korean reverend? John.
Moonies.
Correct.
In which Christian denomination is it necessary for all adult males to enter the priesthood? Kadir.
Quakers?
No.
Martingrove. Mike.
Jansenists?
No.
The Mormons. Topic is Beijing, or Peking, the capital of China. What is the name of Beijing's inner city? Mike.
The Forbidden City?
No.
In which may be found the Imperial City and the Forbidden City? Westdale. Zakir.
The Inner City?
No.
Tatar City. Who was China's last emperor and, Mike?
Puyi.
Correct.
Who first built his capital in Beijing, naming it Zakir?
Kublai Khan.
Correct.
In what huge Beijing building does Kadir?
The pagoda.
No.
Does China's National People's Congress hold its sessions? Martingrove. Mike?
Tiananmen Square.
No.
The Great Hall of the People. Architecture's the topic here. Let's have a look at this particular piece. This church was designed by the French John.
Bussier.
Correct.
The architect. That was Notre Dame du Haut. Brutalism evolved as an architectural style in Europe after what war? Kadir.
The 100 Years' War.
No.
After what war? Martingrove. John.
Second World War.
Correct.
Let's have a look at this particular building. The Canadian landmark is found in what city? John.
Victoria.
The
Correct.
buildings were designed by what British architect whose murder was a sensational scandal in England in the 1930s? John.
Parkins.
No.
Westdale. Francis Rattenbury. A science potpourri for you now, panel. What is a universal component of all living cells which, Kadir,
Carbon.
which
No.
consists of a long chain of phosphate and ribose units together with 4 bases that participate in protein? John.
DNA.
No.
RNA, ribonucleic acid. Which instrument is used for measuring the intensity of light? Kadir?
Luminosphere.
No.
Or of comparing the relative intensity of light from different sources. What do you call this instrument, John?
Photometer.
Sorry?
Photometer.
Correct.
What is the science that examines the universe and includes the study, Mark?
Astronomy.
No.
That includes the study of astronomy, geography, and geology. Kadir.
Cosmology.
Correct.
There's a good word. Can you say cosmology? That's geography. Lake Como in Italy is part of what group of lakes? Mark?
The Apennine Lakes.
No.
What group of lakes? Westdale. Zakir.
Appian.
The Lombardy Lakes. Tijuana in Mexico is situated on which, Mark?
The Rio Grande.
On which peninsula? Kadir.
The Yucatan.
No.
The Baja Peninsula. Lyon is the second largest city. Kadir.
France.
Correct.
In literature, what pen name was assumed by the American author William Kadir?
O. Henry.
Correct.
Oh, you're quick. Name the play on which the musical comedy My Fair Lady, Kadir.
Pygmalion.
In which Shakespearean play does the monster Caliban appear? Kadir.
Troilus and Cressida.
No.
Martingrove. John.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
No.
The Tempest. Medicine. All of the following medical terms start with the prefix hyper, meaning above, beyond, or excessive. We would like the more common term for the following terms, and explain it in your own words. What are you if you are hyperopic? Mark.
You're farsighted.
Correct.
What might you have if your doctor is checking you for hypertension? Mark.
High blood pressure.
Correct.
Hyperglycemia indicates, Kadir,
Too much sugar in the blood.
Correct.
Canadian history. Canada's native peoples are believed to have descended from those who migrated from Asia across Kadir.
The Bering Strait.
Correct.
In 1924, which of Canada's armed forces became a permanent, Kadir,
The Navy.
No.
a permanent component of Canada's defense forces under the Army Chief of the General Staff? John.
Canadian Forces, Northern Region.
No.
The Royal Canadian Air Force. Which district of Canada was made a separate territory in 1898? Mark.
The Yukon.
Correct.
What U.S. economist and reformer led, Mark,
Galbraith.
led the single tax movement in the last century? Westdale, Zakir,
Milton Friedman.
No.
Henry George. When occupied by France, what was Cape Breton Island called? Mark.
Acadia.
No.
Westdale. Tom.
Grand Pré.
No.
Ile Royale. From the 1780s until 1821, what company, headed by Simon McTavish, Kadir,
The Northwest Company.
Correct.
what country, which the United States helped to found, became Africa's first republic? Mark.
Liberia.
Correct.
What is the metallic element in the compound stannous chloride? Kadir.
Tin.
Yes. The assigned questions are coming up right after a couple of important announcements.
Only 6 kilometers west of Renfrew is one of the most beautiful...
Reputation is riding on you.
Okay, just before we get on to the assigned questions, Leonghua Kim from Woburn Collegiate in Scarborough has experienced a lot of the activities this weekend. Leonghua, any highlights on this?
I've endured quite a bit from my teammates. I found out how verbally abusive they are, as well as my coach. But it's been great. It's a lot of fun here. And we hope to come back next year with hopefully a few more girls on the team.
And we know you will. Well, Steve, at the half, we have, through these finals here, the semifinals, etc., we have had this work of sculpture in front of us. This is the Reach for the Top trophy, which the winning team gets to take somewhere.
Yes, this year, last year was New Orleans. This year, Canada hosts the North Americans, and they'll be in Winnipeg, so the trophy will be traveling west.
We'll wish the winning team luck on that. This is all what this is all about here. Let's get on to the assigned questions now. Oh, wait just a minute. We haven't checked the score, have we?
Well, it's right as it's shown. Etobicoke-Martingrove is a 175 to 120 lead over Westdale of Hamilton.
Okay, and now on with the assigned questions. John, Kadir, you're against one another. We're looking for pairs of lovers from musicals or operas. Let's try this one. His passion for this gypsy was so strong that he stabbed her when she left him for a toreador. He is Don Jose. Her name is Kadir.
Carmen?
Correct. That's right. Victims of racial hatred on New York's West Side. He is Tony. Kadir.
Linda?
No.
Leader of the Jets. He loved whom, John?
Maria.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, Mark and Tom. Richard Wagner took the subject matter from a Cornish legend and set this tragic love story to exquisite music. She is Isolde. Her love is... Mark?
Roger.
No.
Tom.
Mr. Leach, the bus driver, we said we put his name in.
It could happen. Actually, Tristan is the guy in question. Two inhabitants of Catfish Row. Whom did Bess love? Mark.
Porgy.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Mike and Richard, familiar from Greek legend and opera, this queen of Carthage killed herself when, Mike?
Dido.
Correct. Yeah. Characters of great wit from Shakespeare and an opera by Berlioz. One partner was Benedict, the other... Richard?
Francesca?
No. Mike?
Arnold.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. John, Zakir. A play by Sardou became a Puccini operatic hit. Mario Cavaradossi is shot by a spiring squad, and his lover leaps to her death from a battlement in Rome. She is...
Juliet.
No.
Martingrove? John?
Lillian?
No.
Flora Tosca. And finally, Bernstein wrote a musical based on a Voltaire novel. The female lead is Cunegonde. Her optimistic, naive partner's name is also the title of the musical and the book. Zakir.
Candide.
That's the one we're looking for. Following open questions are associated with chemistry. Identify the element in each case. This element can exist in more than one form. It is a non-metal, and one of its forms is so reactive, John.
Fluorine?
No.
So reactive that it can only safely be stored underwater. Kadir.
Potassium.
No.
Phosphorus. This element has a total of 10 electrons in each atom. Kadir.
Neon.
Correct.
This element is a metal whose hydroxide is used in oven cleaners and for clearing drains. Kadir.
Sodium.
Correct.
You got it. Early this year, 3 major corporate takeovers were witnessed in our country. What 2 breweries commenced their merger? Mark.
Carlings and Molson.
Correct.
Ward Air will be sold to... Mark?
Pacific Western.
No.
It's true, but that's not the answer we're looking for. It's sold to PWA Corporation, owner of Canadian Airlines, because of financial difficulties. Who's the owner of Ward Air? Tom.
Max Ward.
Correct.
Yeah. And the third takeover announcement was on January 20th. That Texaco Canada's domestic... The words aren't coming out all that well. Texaco Canada's domestic operations would be sold to Kadir.
Husky Oil.
No.
Would be sold to whom? Martingrove. John.
Shell?
Imperial Oil. Word puzzles. What letter must be added to the beginning of a word meaning to a place or position on to create a second word meaning the name of the Indian sidekick of a Western hero? Mark?
T.
T. You add T to on to, and you get Tonto. What letter must be added to the beginning of a word meaning to utter the sound characteristic of cattle to create a second word meaning a sudden, Zakir,
S.
No.
a sudden hard stroke with the hand, fist, or weapon? Mike?
B.
B. You add B to low, you get blow. What letter must be added to the beginning of a word meaning petroleum to create a second word meaning to gather? Mark?
F.
To gather rope, wire, etc. into loops. Kadir?
C.
C. You add C to oil, you get coil. Here's a what am I question. First clue correctly answered will get you 40 points. I am best traveled clockwise, not only for the views, but to ease the qualms. Kadir?
The Trans-Canada Railway.
No.
But to ease the qualms of those nervous about driving beside lofty drop-offs on their right hand. For 40 points, what am I, Martingrove? Mark?
The Pacific Coast Highway.
No.
I loop around the northern portion of the island and cover about 290 kilometers. For 30 points, what am I? John?
Grand Trunk?
No.
Westdale? Zakir?
Cypress Hills.
No.
I more or less begin at Bedeck. For 20 points, Mike.
Cabo Trail.
Correct. Cabo or Cabot Trail, 20 points for Martingrove. Score stands 255, Martingrove, Westdale 180, into classical music. As all three works of the, all three works that we're about to hear are famous. There will be no clues. You will listen and you will identify as a composer. Number one. Kadir.
Bizet.
No.
Martingrove. John.
Tchaikovsky.
Correct. That's right, the 1812 Overture. Let's try number two. John.
Mendelssohn.
That's right, Wedding March from Midsummer Night's Dream. And number three. Richard.
Strauss.
No.
John.
Debussy?
No.
Gustav Mahler's Adagietto from Symphony Number 5.
No more music. Now we're in there.
European geography is the topic here. The term the Low Countries was once applied, Mike?
The Netherlands.
No.
Was once applied to a European lowland region now divided into which three countries? Westdale. Kadir.
Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg.
Correct.
That's the ones. And now on to the French Revolution. Maximilien Robespierre, in addition to being a leading member, Mark?
Jacobins.
No.
He was a leading member of the Jacobin Club, was the leader of what revolutionary faction? Kadir.
Oh, the Mountain.
Correct.
Montagnards, that's right. What was the name of the conveyance that carried condemned persons? Kadir.
A Tumbril.
Correct.
What moderates were rivals of the Montagnards? Mark.
The Plains.
No.
The Montagnards. Kadir.
The Gironde.
Correct.
On to Canadiana. What Canadian community hosts the only festival in the world devoted to the production of plays by the Irish playwright George John?
Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Correct. Shaw Festival. In what 20th century decade was the National Ballet of Canada founded? Mark.
The 1920s.
No.
National Ballet.
The 40s.
50s, 1951. Which great Spanish artist painted two panels, Mike,
El Greco.
No.
in oil called The Martyrdom of Saints Jean de Brebeuf and Gabriel Lallemont at the hands Richard
Velasquez.
No.
Goya, Francisco de Goya, who wrote and illustrated the stories in Wild Animals I Have Known? Zakir.
Beatrice Potter.
No.
Martingrove, John.
Kipling?
No.
Ernest Thompson Seton. Mathematics. Progressions. What is the arithmetic mean of 8, 12, and 1? Mark.
8.
No.
8, 12, and 1. Arithmetic mean. Zakir.
7.
What is the geometric mean of 12 and 3? Kadir.
6.
Correct.
What is the sum of an infinite series with A equal to 1 and R equal to 1/2? Tom.
3/4.
No.
Martingrove. John.
3.
No.
2. Martingrove 285, Westdale 240. Another scramble. For 5 points, what medium-sized star is about 5 billion years old and provides the Earth with daylight? Mark?
The sun.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, these are yours, Martingrove, and they all deal with Old Sol. What element makes up 3/4 of the sun's gases?
Hydrogen.
Correct. What is the source of the sun's energy?
Fusion.
Correct. In the center or core of the sun, the gases are under tremendous pressure, causing high temperature. Within 1 million degrees Fahrenheit, what's the temperature of the center of the sun?
5 million.
No.
25 million degrees. What was the trademark for a chubby-cheeked doll with a curl at the top of its head? Kadir.
Raggedy Ann.
No.
Chubby-cheeked doll, curl, top of head, Mark?
Cupid doll.
Yeah. Riga is the capital of which, Mark?
Georgia.
No.
Finish the question.
Here.
Estonia.
No.
Latvia is what we're looking for.
Snappers.
Okay, panel, on to the snappers to close things off. Vixen is the term for what animal? Mark?
A deer.
No.
Vixen. Kadir.
Fox.
What is the word or phrase with a meaning similar to that of another in the same language? Kadir.
Homophonic.
No.
Mark?
Synonym.
Correct.
Which city in northern India is the site of the... Kadir.
Agra.
Correct.
In Greek mythology, what was responsible for retribution? Kadir.
Opening of Pandora's box.
No.
Retribution. Mark?
Nemesis.
Correct.
Name the powerful bow with mechanism for drawing and releasing the string. Mike?
Crossbow.
Correct.
Which German-born astronomer became court astronomer? Kadir.
Kepler.
No.
Court astronomer? John?
Herschel.
Correct.
Bird is a music about which great jazz musician? Mike?
Time.
Tom?
Parker.
Correct.
What is the distinctive pattern of a Highland clan with colored stripes crossing Kadir?
A kilt.
No.
Crossing at right angles. Martingrove. Mark?
Tartan.
Correct.
What is the longest river in France? Zakir.
Diane.
No.
France. John?
Loire.
Correct.
What is the scientific study of poisons? Kadir.
Toxicology.
Correct.
In legend, what was the name of King Arthur's magic... Mark?
Excalibur.
Correct.
What is a French expression of good wishes to someone starting... Kadir.
Bon chance.
No.
Starting a journey. Martingrove. Mark?
Bon voyage.
What is the chemical symbol of lithium? Kadir.
Li.
Correct.
What specific equation? Okay, we'll be right back.
Relax and enjoy your camping trip with all the right equipment from John's War Surplus. They have the best selection of quality.
Well, at the end of the game, Steve, where did we end up?
Well, it's difficult for me just to turn the pages and keep up with how quickly the answers come. Martingrove had 400, Westdale 280. So Martingrove is into the finals.
Next week, our second semifinal game, Fenland Falls Secondary School takes on Tugla Secondary School from Cornwall. Join us then on Reach for the Top.